Zoom comedy shows, which didn't really go that well because there was not really any feedback from the audience. We tried to wait it out. That didn't seem like it was working either. So then in June of 2020, we were introduced, or June of 2021, we were introduced to Decentraland, and obviously saw the opportunity immediately. We did our first show. Hold on, let me see if I can pull this up. So this was our first show. I don't know if you see that, Tyler?
Yeah, I
Just
can
want
see
to
it.
make sure. All right, perfect. So this was our first show that we did. It was actually live from New York City with Mark Norman as a headliner, and we had Corinne Fisher, Dave Temple, Ryan Long, and Katie Boyle. So this was our first attempt. We actually worked with a company at the time called Forward Entertainment that we rented their space from. The show went very well. It was a live stream of a live show with a live audience into our little space here, pretty much without much promotion or marketing. We had quite a decent turnout, and the comics were exposed to a whole new form of audience, which they were pretty excited about. So the first show went great. The comics were happy. The turnout was good. And not only did the community in Decentraland support us, but we also had a few people who reached out that wanted to help us with our project. And now I come from the corporate world. That doesn't really usually happen that often, that somebody actually wants to help propel kind of what you're doing. And this is something that I've really been impressed with the community in Decentraland. And one of those people that reached out, he's here with us on the call today. His name is Patrick, or you guys might know him as Pat Mac. And he's actually, I hope he's not going to get mad that I mentioned this, but he used to, way back when, also be a comedian. And now he has a full-time job, but he's major advocate for Decentraland. He's an influencer. He's working on a great project. But also, on top of all of that, he had comedy club already built in Decentraland. So he called me up and we discussed, what we want to do, bringing comics, and he was gracious enough to kind of let us use the space, and we started working with him on really, trying to see how we can do this differently. So not only just, doing a live stream from a comedy club in New York, but coming up with other creative ideas on how to really make the experience the best for the users and the fans in Decentraland. So then after this, we had our next show, and this is Tyler, my partner, but also one of the best comics in Canada, if not North America. But he can definitely tell you about how this went down, because we wanted to do a little bit of a different format. So I'm going to let him talk towards this.
Sure. Yeah. I thought it was really cool the interactive nature that you're allowed to experience through Decentraland, and using this technology, we were able to do like a live screening of my stand-up special, but I was able to come in there as my avatar and kind of talk a little bit about the context behind the special, and what happened in the room that night. There was just with that stand-up special, there was a lot of people were walking out of the show and getting offended, I guess, by the content. But it was cool to be able to go and be able to talk about it with the people, in the room. Is almost like, a virtual meet and greet type experience, and then to play it on the screen. And then I came back on after and did a Q&A, and also involved in like the chat bar that was happening during the show. It was really interesting to experience stand-up that way. I think that it totally gives a whole new element of fan engagement that can be explored, and we hope to be able to take that to a whole other level and create new opportunities and new ways that fans can engage with their favorite comedians and different podcasts and specials and all that. So
yeah, that show was really cool. Like, that was what I was kind of talking about earlier, my first comedy stand-up experience. I was unable to make it to the first one, and I was super disappointed. But when I caught your show, it was awesome. I mean, I went and bought NFT and everything. I was all inspired.
Thanks.
But no, it's just really exciting to see, you know, we see the art industry, music is jumping in, you know, you guys jumping in with comedy, and it's like, you know, one of my favorite things, so super cool.
Well,
Yeah,
Murph,
it was
you've been a
cool.
great supporter to us as well, so thanks for that.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, for sure.
What do you want to say, Tyler?
I was just saying it was really cool because like the first one that we did, the first show we did in there was a live stream from a live show, and then this one was a pre-recorded special. So I thought it was great to be able to add the interactive layer to it, so that it isn't just like, you know, watching TV. It's actually, there is another element to it, and I think that, you know, as we progress and keep exploring these different possibilities, and we're going to learn all kinds of new cool things and ways that we can present the content and give people a unique way of accessing comedy. I think it's great. And then if you look on the screen, you can see the Too Soon, like the album art or special art. That was like an NFT that you could actually get and collect, and so we've been doing that with each show, is having our comedy contraband collection of NFTs, and we hope to keep continuing that also, so there's, you know, things that fans can take away from it and collect as well.
I see me.
So then, so after on August 5th, this show was on August 5th. So at this point, we pretty much realized that this is something that we want to pursue. We saw the opportunity, not just, you know, for us as Comedy Central, but for the comedians to be able to showcase themselves in a completely new way. So once we were sure that this is where we want to stay, this is the metaverse we want to be in, we went out to acquire more content, which meant more comedians understanding, you know, a little bit more about the space and how to perform within it. We went out to, you know, attack and get more pre-recorded stand-up specials and comics that we can work with that would be interested. We're approaching podcasts to stream live as well, roast battles, just in general, any well-known personalities in comedy that have an established fan group that would benefit from having a space in Decentraland is kind of who we went out and started talking to. And then this leads us into the third show, which again was a little bit of a different format. And we did a live stream with Kenny and Spenny, who are interested in building up a fan community in a metaverse. So we wanted to show them what Decentraland can offer and what it's all about. And I feel, you know, Tyler, you can also speak towards this, but I think what they saw in Decentraland and what can be done. And this was two people live streaming from completely different spots in the country, and it still went down very well. So this show was then, I think it was October 11th, and we did a second showcase of that live stream, I think a week later. But pretty much what we're now trying to do, or what we've been doing over the past month or past few months, is really reaching out, acquiring new content, and getting some bigger names into Decentraland that will in turn hopefully be able to drive new users into the world. I don't know, Tyler, if you want to say anything towards that, but
Yeah, like if you're not familiar with Kenny and Spenny, like they have a huge fan base from, they had a TV show in Canada that became international, and you know, they have over, I think, 250,000 people just on one of their social media platforms. But they definitely have an engaged throng of fans, and that's the type of artists that we're trying to court to come into the metaverse, because we want to bring those outside users and kind of like, you know, educate people about what this is, and it's a different medium and how you can experience your comedy. And for that particular event, because they were doing it, the live Q&A thing, Justin, who's part of our team, he's worked really hard and with Patrick to make sure that our stream is crystal clear and really develop it. That's why we did the second stream of it. We've really been working hard on the back end to make sure that when people are streaming into our shows, that it is like super high quality, and I think that that's going to be one thing that also sets us, you know, makes us a cut above some of the other things that are available to people. I want people to be able to know that they can trust our streams too when they come in to watch it, and it's not going to be, you know, crappy quality. I mean, that's something that,
Smart.
you know, you do these test runs and we're just figuring it out, and we're starting to really get there. And I'm really happy with, you know, after 3 events, I feel like we've turned a corner and really upgraded the quality to what we're doing. So
It's awesome.
So yeah, this is kind of where it brings us to till today. I just came back from Houston, Texas, where I attended in person live comedy festival, where we were able to educate comedians on what we're doing. We're now talking with sponsors to help elevate the level of comedians that we can bring in, because, you know, there's a lot of comics that are willing to try this out, but at the end of the day, it's still their full-time job, and they have to cover their own nut, as they call it. But we're spreading the word, and we're really excited about what's coming up next. First, I'd like to kind of, you know, throughout this process, it's been now maybe 5 months since we started this, and what I've really learned from just this Decentraland community that we have here is that, you know, everybody really wants to help each other to move this forward. And this, to me, was, I would say, the biggest thing that has made us stay here in Decentraland and want to really truly build this with you guys, you know, like with individuals like, again, like Pat Mack and Izu, that's helped us from almost the very beginning, to Murph giving us a platform to present what we're doing and showcase, you know, where we're going. Like, clearly Decentraland's here to stay. And, you know, we attended the Metaverse Festival, the music festival, about a month back. Like, this is now getting to be some next level shit. It's amazing. And this is where we want to be, kind of with our comedy, and being able to bring in, you know, some big names to support what Decentraland's doing. And then, you know, just everything's moving so quickly, and we're super excited to be a part of it. But yeah, and I'm really happy. What we have in store is pretty exciting. But I don't know, Tyler, do you want to say any final words before we go into what's next?
No, I think we're good to go. Yeah, let's fire it up.
All right. So what we'd like to announce here for the first time is that at the end of February in 2022, we're going to be bringing a Metaverse Comedy Festival into Decentraland. Nice. It's going to be a minimum of 3 nights, minimum of 20 comedians, and 1 big party. What we're going to be doing is all the different ways that the different formats that we talked about. So parts of it is going to be live from different clubs around the United States and Canada. Other parts will be pre-recorded specials with avatars of the comedians coming in. There's going to be some live podcasts. Live streams like we did with the Kenny and Spenny. So there's going to be lots of really, really exciting components to it, lots of different types of shows. Obviously, we're going to be offering some wearables and some collectible NFTs as part of our comedy contraband collection. There might be, if some still working on it, some VIP keys in play to get exclusive access to comics directly. But we're really excited that we are doing something completely different that no one's ever done before in the comedy world, and really putting on a big, 3-day festival show for everybody to come and enjoy comedy in Decentraland.
That is super exciting. So maybe we...
Yeah, and beyond that... Sorry, go ahead.
No, we should talk about doing like satellite events.
Yeah, that would be great. I think, this was a great reason why we wanted to be on this community call. Like, obviously, when I talked about like working together and creating those partnerships with different people, it's all going to help us benefit to grow Decentraland together. So, if there's anybody that sees that what they're doing kind of could fit together with what we're doing, and if you see some synergies there, please don't hesitate to reach out to Tyler or I, because we'd love, anybody's help to develop this and make it an even better event than we already know that it it can be. Like we're realizing that to build this together, it's all about creating partnerships and really helping each other kind of build what to where we want to get to where we want to go. And I think what is different from us maybe than a lot of the other events is that we do have the unique opportunity to reach people that might have never known about Decentraland, but they might want to come see their comic in a virtual metaverse. So like, I don't know, I had this slide here that just showed, like, for example, the social media outreach that our first show had, which was the Mark Norman and what their social media impressions look like. So obviously part of the contract with the comics when they do the shows is that they're reaching out to their people on social media about our shows. So this was, every comic posted it twice, and that got over 10 million impressions over the course of 2 weeks. So we're able to get the word out there and promote Decentraland indirectly through these comics, because this is such a unique opportunity for fan engagement for fans that they're going to come out and sign up, be a part of Decentraland just to see their comics do something different and special. So this is hopefully a way that we can give back, is to help build Decentraland, its usership, in a much quicker way through comedy.
Yeah, and the other thing with the festival that we're going to be focusing on too is to bring some international flavor to it. So it's not just going to be North American centric. We're going to be working with some comedians who are from, Ireland and the UK, who have followings in the UK. We want to have people from all over kind of involved. I'm talking with some Australian comedians right now about being a part of it. We'd love to have that international type of atmosphere that's happening. That way that there's also shows happening, around the clock at different hours, because I know people access it at different times. It'd be really cool to to include those different I guess users from different continents and bring it in that way, because it's there. Obviously we're located in North America and we do have a lot of the connections here, but because comedy's international, I don't see why we shouldn't include all those different countries and see who can who wants to be part of it too, right?
Love that. That's awesome. Yeah,
and
you
beyond the
gotta
festival,
keep it global, right?
Yeah,
that's right.
That's it. And it's honestly, it's something that is really attractive for the comedians as well, that they can actually get their names out and their acts out to a global market, which is much more difficult to do when they're stuck here, because how many people go and travel to Europe to do comedy, right? So, or other places around the world.
Exactly, and one of the events that we're going to be teaming with for this is it's a show called Your Hood's a Joke, and basically it's a country versus country roast battle, and it's comedians from different countries roasting each other's countries, and so this has become a very popular show, like globally, and they have a pretty big YouTube channel, and it's amazing because you get comics from India and China, and they're just roasting the shit out of each other, and it really brings up that it's almost like going to a soccer match, seeing the way people get involved on behalf of their team, and I think it brings good engagement that way too. So I think it will give another component also to the live events too in Decentraland. When people come in, they can cheer for their country.
Man, so much potential.
And then obviously beyond the festival, which we're most excited about, but we also will still be doing our regular events, focusing on the metaverse space development, designing possibly unique spaces for comics to have as their own space. Like we're reaching out to podcasts and creating podcast studios where the comic could have a permanent residence or permanent space in Decentraland that you could pop in and watch the podcast or watch past podcasts as well. Basically, we want to be the exclusive comedy content provider to Decentraland, and just keep you guys laughing. There's lots of clubs, there's lots of art, and so we're gonna bring the jokes.
Nice. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It's it's amazing. There's a lot of crossover when it comes to musicians and artists and their fan bases, and like you're saying, you're reaching like this whole new sector. And you would think it would bring in some funny people. So
That's what we're hoping for.
that's awesome. Man.
So I guess, otherwise, Tyler, if you have anything else, I think that's kind of, we want.
Yeah. The only thing I would say is we don't.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, the only thing I would say, we don't want to be the exclusive. We want to be the best, though. We want to make it. We want other people to be able to do this too, I think, and to have opportunities with us. But yeah, this is such a cool thing for us to be part of, and we want everyone's feedback. So like, we want to hear what you're interested in too, as the community. We want to know what kind of shows you guys want to see, so we can kind of plan, because we do have a little bit of time before this happens. Hello. And then I think that by the end of February we should have a really, really well-rounded festival. As my daughter's climbing.
Yeah, mine are climbing all over the Xbox. So that's great.
I wanted to say we're going to so we do have a Discord channel that we've just kind of got up and running. So I'm going to share. How do I share?
Yeah, you can drop
this,
that in
Murph?
the Meetup text channel.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right above here. Perfect. I will do that. And again, like Tyler was saying, any feedback that you guys may have or who you'd like to see, like we're going to be doing some community crowd kind of funding events or community events where, like, let us know who you want to see, what comics you would, that way we can give them the feedback, and obviously if we can show that there's a bunch of people that want to see them in the metaverse, then that makes it more attractive for them as well.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Absolutely.
So I want to take a moment and open it up to the floor, to the community. Does anybody have any questions or comments? You want to jump in, or you can put it in the text channel? Let's see, question. Yeah, and all of their links are also on the RSVP page. So for the Instagram, Twitter, Discord, all their socials. No questions or comments.
Okay, don't be shy, guys.
I don't have any questions, but I just wanted to say I'm really looking forward to all the stuff you guys are working on. I think it's awesome.
Thank you very much. We really appreciate that.
Yeah, it's exciting. I think, like, again, we see, and I love it. Don't get me wrong. I mean, the music, the art, all the experiences. We got the golf coming, all this stuff, and but you just haven't seen comedy yet, and it's I think it's a big part of everybody's life at some in some degree, being able to laugh. So I think it's important, and again, it brings in this whole new crowd. So I think it's going to be beneficial for all of Decentraland to show that you can do all these different types of entertainment successfully. So.
Yeah, this will be a great addition. Welcome to the metaverse.
Thank you. All right, Murph, I think I was just warned by your community manager that I'm not allowed to post links in this text. So if you guys, I just got told. It's the one right above.
Oh yeah, it's a bot.
That's a bot. Okay, that's not somebody getting mad at me. All right.
Skynet.
Got it. Again, I'm very new. My Discord skills, I'm working on them. If anybody wants to teach me and help me out, please.
It's a bit of an experiment for everybody. Like, we're adding bots to help, certain aspects, and they are still robots. So. or programs.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Um,
Yeah,
were you not able to post at all?
no, it just threw it deleted it right away.
Okay. I didn't realize it was on there. That one, that type of channel.
Okay, it is on the events page as well, under today's event, and we'll figure it out.
Awesome. So, being new to the space and just coming in and bringing in this whole new format for comedy. So, what were some of the big hurdles you guys ran into? Like the biggest ones for this type of process?
I would say that at the beginning, it was really trying to explain to comics, and mainly comics, and even the sponsors that we were working with before for live events, to explain the potential of Decentraland and to explain the whole concept. And a lot of people immediately just thought it was either a game, or people have heard of NFTs, but not really have they heard of a metaverse. And obviously now, since Facebook had announced their big announcement, we've seen a complete 180 flip
Right.
in that. It's absolutely unbelievable. Like when I just went to this festival in Houston, that was I'm calling it post Facebook comment, but it was like completely turned it around. Like before, comics would be like, I don't know, I don't want my content online, because you have to remember, for a lot of people, especially now with cancel culture, and the comics are nervous that somebody might record what they're doing, or just anything being online is a little bit nerve-wracking. But now with this Facebook announcement, the comics know what a metaverse is. They want to be a part of it. I think also the festival that Decentraland had with some big names there, that gave us a lot of clout. So I think at the beginning it was really just explaining what this whole world is, and you have to remember, most of these comics don't even own a computer, so it's not like they're online gaming all the time. So it was a little bit of a stretch at the beginning, but now I feel like we're in a whole new ball game, because metaverse has become a household mainstream name.
So wild. Like I never thought I'd be like, thanks, Zuck. Ever. It was like
one of the other
NYC too. Sorry, go ahead, Tyler.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, no, I was gonna say, one of the other things that was hard starting out is because of the pandemic. Jade and I were in Canada, and so we were doing the show in New York City. Normally, we would just fly down to New York and be part of that hands-on, so we could be part of the production. We had to rely on people from that we just met that are going to handle the tech side of it. So everything was being done, online or over phone. Whereas normally, because we couldn't cross the border because of the pandemic. So there's just a little bit of we've had to pull together really good help on the back end of things, and in different places, and rely on the online community to make these things work. And I think, as we keep going, we keep meeting new people who've been able to provide awesome help with what we're putting out there.
Yeah, I can't say enough about our community. It's crazy. It still blows my mind how helpful everybody is. Love
I
it.
agree.
Yeah, this whole that's always been even family stuff, or just even friends I haven't seen in a bit or aren't in the space. Like when people ask what I do, or even what I'm into, it's almost like a dreaded question, because it's it takes 15 minutes just to kind of get them to understand what it is, and then at that point they usually stop listening, or they just assume I'm doing something illegal, or it's so wild. So I couldn't even imagine trying to pitch it to somebody earlier in the year, before the Zuck effect. It's just, and the same thing for NFT NYC. It was just this crazy buzz, and I guess they sold a ton of tickets last minute, because of everybody's now trying to be the first of the table, even though that's really all of us here. But yeah, so amazing. And then that with COVID, kind of forcing everybody to learn, like you just described. You kind of have to learn new ways to do business and new ways to function. And
Yep.
and proving that it works. Like before, you just didn't do it because it was too high risk, really, even if it was
Yep.
something, and now it's the only option, and then you make it work. You're like, wow, okay. So when the other options come back, this one almost can be more valuable for you because now you have it down. So it's just been, I've seen that across in a lot of industries, and just in general. So it's really exciting, and I love that it's it's affecting all of the industries, not just fintech and gaming. It's everybody's getting the buzz.
It's exciting. It's an exciting time to be a part of this, that's for sure. And yeah, I just can't wait to see where it could go. Like the fan engagement from a fan's perspective of really, and especially once we're at this moment in time with Decentraland, being in the avatar form. But then once it moves into virtual reality and you can actually feel like you're in the comedy club with other patrons, and like that's then again it's going to just be a whole nother level. So we're excited where it can go. We're excited that platforms like YouTube and Facebook and Twitter, they're all great for comics, but everything is disjointed, right? Like you can bring all of those components for one comic into Decentraland, create a cool environment, cool virtual space, have the comic pop in once a week or once every 2 weeks. When they do a podcast, they can do a meet and greet in the space. Like these are options that comics don't have in the real world, right? So it's about really painting that picture of what it could look like for them and for their fans. And it's just a whole different experience that a fan won't be able to get in real life. Like even a meet and greet, what are you, maybe 1 second, take a picture and move right on. Here we can actually do like a sit down, something like this with a comic where he's talking to fans in Decentraland for an hour or so, and going questions and Q&As. So there's a lot of different really cool ways of fan engagement that we're seeing that's even beyond what there is in the real world.
Right, and also for the comics, you're putting, like if you put it on Facebook and you put it on these other platforms, they're taking cuts and they're stealing all of your fans' data, and then, it's just all of it. So here, they're gonna be able to monetize their own content and actually receive a much higher percentage of that, if not all. It's more secure, get a better fan experience, and like you're saying, and it's just the beginning. So and then on top of that, like if you didn't notice from the posters that we do, like we definitely the types of shows that we do is dark comedy, and a lot of the comedians that we know have either been canceled or close to canceled because of what they say. And we're offering the comedians a platform where it really is a decentralized community where, you could get in trouble. Maybe if somebody says really something terrible, the community will vote on it and say you're out of here, but no one's canceling their career in this, in Decentraland. So it's also, it gives it's a safe space for comedians as it is right now everywhere else in North America. Yeah, it's a little more I think there's a much higher tolerance, just the nature of the communities.
Exactly.
Yeah, Tyler, your stand-up was awesome. I mean, I can see what you mean, though. I was really impressed how you could get so close to the edge and not, like, at least for me personally, it wouldn't, it was like, oh God, where's this going? And then and then whatever you'd say, you're like, oh God, like that's awesome.
If I was more popular, someone would be coming after me, but
yeah, that's true. So, especially if you get, meta famous, you might have to be careful.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So,
If anybody, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. I was just gonna say,
No.
so what part do you find most exciting for the future of Comedy Decentral?
Well, obviously, we're really excited about Art Festival. I don't think it's going to be the magnitude of the Metaverse Music Festival that happened, but we want to try and really come up with some interactive ways to engage fans into the whole weekend and comics alike, obviously. I think what's exciting is if, our comics who have already strong fan bases are going to start building their own little communities within Decentraland and bringing in more people into the world. I think, that's a big, it's, again, from what I'm seeing, the way that fans want to now interact with each other as well, there's not that many platforms for them to do that on together. Like I'm saying, let's say if it's Andrew Schultz, he has a fan base group. Right now, you can have something maybe on Facebook as like a fan group, but it's not. This is a much more interesting way for fans to even engage with each other. So I'm excited to see how that's going to develop. But I don't know, Tyler, do you have anything that you want to say to that?
Yeah, I mean, to compare it to the Metaverse Music Festival, I think that's a fair comparison because that was a pretty big, I'm sure there was a pretty big budget behind it to get some of these people going, but the festival will only be as big as the funding behind it is. So the idea is to partner with some big sponsors to help bring bigger artists, but the core of the festival will just be very, very solid comedy. We've been able to do these festivals in real life, and to be able to replicate them into the metaverse is going to be, I think it's going to be very cool because we've been doing this for so long in the real world to take what we've learned and take 15 years of experience and transfer it into this virtual interactive way to see comedy and utilizing all the connections we've made over these years. I think we can make a pretty big impact, especially within the metaverse, but also within comedy. I would think everyone in comedy will be talking about what this is when we are done with our first one, and then it's only going to get bigger from there because you start off, it's building blocks. We did 3 shows, all different formats. We figured out how to do those formats. Now we can put all those formats into the festival, and then we're adding new ones while we're at it. So I think the way to the path is very clear for us to go in and innovate but take also what works in the real world and bring it to the metaverse so that people can experience comedy in a new way, but also in the traditional way too. So I do think that we are going to be able to make a big impact, and the bigger the funding that we have, the bigger names we can get. But we've been able to moneyball festivals in the real world too, and bring in top names just based on credibility and the fact that this is a new thing that comedians are going to want to explore. I think it's going to be something that comedians take a run at just to test it out and experience a new form of bringing comedy to their fans.
Hell yeah. So,
Right.
so for both of you, I'm kind of curious. So, you heard about the Decentraland metaverse, checking it out. Once you actually got in and kind of comfortable with it, what were some of the biggest surprises for you, unforeseen,
That I liked it.
Okay, that's a big one.
I'm not a huge gamer or whatever, and so I thought maybe I had no idea what to expect the first time, and the first one that we did was I wasn't on the show, so I went in just as a fan to watch it, and I was like, wow, this is really cool. I would do this again. Is what I came away thinking. This is neat. You're standing there, and I see Jade is in there and Justin as their avatars, and we're able to communicate with each other. It was just a really unique way to experience comedy. I'm like, this is cooler than watching it on Netflix. I'm falling asleep sometimes watching them on Netflix.
Exactly.
Through that you lose a little bit of the, like I said, the interactive medium of what stand-up really is. When you're in the room watching stand-up comedy, it's much better than watching it through a screen. But with the metaverse, it almost takes away that or it adds the element of that you get in a live thing, but in a different way. It's just a little bit how would I say? It's different than just watching a comedy on a screen, which is way better. So
Awesome.
And I think I second everything that Tyler just said. And then for me, it was really being surprised about how people actually want to help you and work together. Because again, my corporate background, everybody kind of kept their knowledge to themselves because they didn't want anybody else to get ahead. And it's been really, really great just getting so much support. And again, I'm not really a tech person either. If that's why we did bring in Justin to the team, because between Tyler and I, we're still both learning. But I feel like it's just propelled my knowledge of the space and what can be done. And then just seeing, like at the beginning, all we thought about was just doing a live show with a screen. And from that, so many other ideas have kind of spawned. And I'm excited to see, where it's going next and what else we can kind of figure out and do. And, this is a shout out to anybody. If you guys have interesting ideas of how you would want to perhaps engage with comics, or if there is something that, you've been like, hey, I'd love to be able to do this with a comic or play games, or, any ideas that anybody has to make this festival better and bigger and more fun for the users, please don't hesitate to let us know. We're all open to suggestions for sure.
Yeah, and the other thing that I really liked from when I did my special and the interactive side of it being on the other end where I'm the performer now, I really liked the positivity that is in the community. I found it to be I wasn't sure what to expect there, right? Because you post stuff on YouTube and the comment section can be pretty vicious. I had no idea, like, am I just setting myself up to be heckled in real time by a bunch of avatars? And so I'm reading the chat and everyone's being real nice. I'm like, wow, this is an awesome community here. I'm happy to be part of this.
Am I just gonna be trolled in a new format?
Yeah. I had no idea what it was gonna be, but I sensed the appreciation of the community, that we are bringing some new entertainment to it, and I think it's cool that everyone can help build these type of things in here. That's what it is. We're kind of all building new things together, and there is endless possibilities because of it. So no, it really was neat to experience that type of positivity in an online community, because we know how south things can go.
That is so funny, because I'm not from that background, so I wouldn't even I don't get trolled that often, I guess, that I know of, at least on my public stuff. And it's like being an entertainer and things, it's probably something you deal with more than you should have to. And just having that in the back of your head, like, okay, I'm gonna go in here and it could just be getting slaughtered on a different format. Great.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, well, when you post it on YouTube, you don't have to read the comments. You still do, but you don't have to.
Right.
But if you're in there interactive, yeah, you're taking it it's like a stand-up show if you're just getting heckled mercilessly.
Oh man, that's so good.
Now, and again, Murph, I want to thank you for giving us this platform today to present. And again, another shout out to Patrick, Pat Max. He's been a huge, supporter and worked so hard on our builds, and he's our number one guy here. So big
cool.
shout outs to Patrick.
What's up, Pat?
Yeah.
Anything you want to say, buddy?
Hello.
Hey.
Hey.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Oh. No, it's all good.
Thanks for coming on to say that, though.
No, I think it's great that you jumped in and you're helping them out, man. That's awesome.
And also thanks to Justin, who couldn't be here today. Justin, he's very involved in getting involved in the community and talking on the different Discords and learning kind of what you guys are interested in too. So it's nice to have a guy who's a little bit more in tune with stuff, and as we learn, right? So Jade mentioned that earlier, but we're really happy with the team and then the people who have gravitated to us to assist us to get to where we are right now. So
So cool. So we have about 5 minutes left. Does anybody else have anything to say? Want to jump in with a question? Suggestions? Now's your chance.
Well, I was
Very
able to
excited.
post the Discord onto the chat, to the link to our Discord. I think it was maybe just the other links that got me booted. So if you guys just want to send anything, via text, or you think of something later on, please join our Discord channel, and we really open to as many suggestions as we can get. It'll only make it better. I think, Murph, we can call it if you're cool with that.
Yeah, that works for me. Thank you so much for coming on. I'm super excited to see. Now I'm really excited for this festival, but super stoked to see what you guys bring to Decentraland, and just everybody jump in if you can help. I'm always promoting helping each other out in this space and in Decentraland. The more people we get in and the better experiences we can create, the more successful we'll all be. So,
Excellent.
thank you all for coming.
Thank you, Murph.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Thanks for
everybody,
having us.
for showing up. And thank you. Thank you very much for Murph, for everything that you've done as well. We appreciate it.
Of course, and thank you all for coming out. We have Crypto Casino Night in 3 minutes. So, get on in there, win some
Enjoy,
prizes.
win some money.
Make it rain. All right, well, thank you all, and have a fantastic week, and I will talk to you all soon.
All right. Thanks. Thank you all.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.